The world population is growing exponentially. Demand for food is increasing every day. Rainfall has become uncertain and ill-distributed, which may be due to climate change and global warming. Uneven and untimely rain has disturbed the rain-fed farming a lot. Drought is a common natural phenomenon since the ages, but the effect of drought is extreme now. Even the irrigated areas are not safe. Water storage capacity of the reservoirs have come down due to silt accumulation. Many times, those dams also get half-filled. Indiscriminate and unscientific irrigation resulted in marshy land and saline soils in most of the project areas. As a result, the world started facing shortage of food grains. Scientific inventions took man to moon and Mars, but we cannot eat anything else than food for our survival. The shortage of food will be still worse if we do not take immediate and necessary action. It is said that the Third World War will be for food and water. In India, 60% of the total cultivated area is rain-fed, 40% of the rural population, and 60% of cattle live in dry lands. In the total farm production of the country, 42% of food grain, 75% of oil seeds, more than 90% of dicot grams, sorghum, groundnut, and 70% of cotton come from dry land and rain-fed farming. Even 61.7% paddy is also being produced under rain-fed condition. This means we have to achieve more in dry land farming to enhance food production of the country. Irrigated crop can yield 3 times more than the dry land crop. But there is a limit for the expansion of the irrigated area. Most of the high-yielding varieties and technologies are developed for irrigated farming. But now, we are compelled to give more priority for dry land farming for sustainable farm production. We find dry lands in rain shadow areas after the heavy rainfall regions. In India, 84 districts are totally rain-fed. Karnataka state has 75 to 80% cultivated area under rain-fed farming. Rajasthan stands first in the country and Karnataka in second position in dry land area. The major portion of high rainfall area also depend on rainwater for crop production. Cultivation in these areas is categorized into dry farming, dry land farming, and rain-fed farming depending on the amount of rainfall received. Farming in the areas with less than 750 mm average rainfall is dry farming. Drought in the mid-cropping season, failure of the crop, etc. are very common here. Cropping duration is hardly 75 days. Farming is not possible without the conservation of rainwater. Crop production in the areas with 750 mm to 1150 mm rainfall is dry land farming. Cropping period is between 75 to 120 days. The farmer will succeed in one crop with rainwater conservation. Crop production in humid regions with more than 1150 mm rainfall is rain-fed farming. Cropping duration is more than 120 days. There is no shortage of water for one crop. Sometimes 2 crops are also possible. Soil erosion is a severe problem in dry lands. Everything is uncertain due to deficient and erratic rain. Evaporation and transpiration rate is more due to high temperature. Many times, there will be acute shortage for drinking water also. Normally, the dry land will be less fertile and saline sometimes. Farming here is like gambling with nature. Only the drought-tolerant crops like oilseeds, dicot grams, sorghum, foxtail millet, kodo millet, and other minor millets are successful here. Organic matter content of the soil is less. Large area, monocropping, very low yield and income, poor economic conditions of the farmer, etc. are very common in dry lands. All these lead to many ecological, health and social problems. Sustainable farming for better yield and income can improve overall situation. To achieve this, it is advisable to go for integrated farming with soil and water conservation, organic farming, Agroforestry, keeping livestock and farm-based subsidiary activities. Let us study soil and water conservation practices first. Humus content of the dry land is less and soil surface is hard. Hence, percolation of rainwater is also less. This leads to soil erosion, and fertile topsoil layer is lost with runoff water. To avoid this, put efforts to conserve maximum amount of rainwater on the farm and make structures to collect excess rainwater for later use. Let us understand engineering methods for soil and water conservation first. In slopy lands with more than 5% slope, trenches and bunds are created along the contour lines. Depending on the situation, the distance between the bunds may vary from 30 to 50 meters. Rainwater collects along the bunds and percolates slowly. Surface runoff and soil erosion comes down. Plants planted on these bunds show tremendous growth due to high moisture content in the trenches. In the same way, sowing is practiced in beds or rows along the contour lines. Sorghum and erosion-resistant crops like groundnut are grown in strips. The same principle is followed in forest plantations on the slopes of the hills. Trenches are dug along the contour lines and seedlings are planted on the bunds. Growth of the plants will be excellent due to high moisture content in the soil. On hill slopes with more than 20% slope, bench terracing is common. It is inevitable for successful farming, even though the cost of construction is very high. We find paddy fields in such terraced lands in hilly regions. This structure helps for standing of water and to conserve soil and manure applied. In forest and horticultural plantations, shallow half-moon or V-shaped pits are dug for each plant. This pit collects and percolates rainwater even from unseasonal rain. Manures and fertilizers can also be given in the same pit since it maintains more moisture. In plain lands, shallow pits are dug near each plant before the onset of monsoon. These pits percolate enough water, enhancing plant growth. Large farms with less slope are divided into compartments by putting bunds against slope. Even though more water gets collected at the bund, it helps for spreading of moisture for the entire compartment. Normally, the pits dug for putting bunds are retained. Rainwater collected in these trenches percolates slowly, improving soil moisture. Planting red gram, castor, etc. on these bunds will help for stabilization of the bund, apart from an additional income. In heavy rainfall areas, grass with strong root system, like vetiver, is put for the stabilization of bunds. This avoids breaking and washing away of bunds. Stone bunds are also common. Ridges and furrows are made against the slope by plowing on large farms before the onset of monsoon. In Kharif, maize, sorghum, pearl millet, etc. are sown in the furrows. Ridges will have soya bean, black gram, green gram, cowpea, etc. Water percolated in the furrows is useful even for rabi crops. In another method, broad beds are prepared by opening furrows at 4 to 5 meter interval. Crops with high water requirement may be planted in the furrow. Crops requiring low water, like dicot grams and oil seeds, are sown in the beds. Excess water during heavy rains flows out of the farm, even after implementing various rainwater harvesting methods. Also, the streams flow from hills and forest area next to the farm. Small dams or barriers are built to store this water for usage on the farm. The construction may be systematic with stones and cement or RCC. Otherwise, we may use locally available stones, wood, wire mesh, etc. to cut down the cost. Water collected in this check dam percolates slowly, recharging groundwater. Provide drains to avoid overflow. Otherwise, the check dam may break and washed away. Grow grass or put stone slabs in the water channels, bringing water to this dam. In heavy rainfall areas, vented dams are popular. Take out all blockages in the rainy season to facilitate free flow of water. Put wooden or metal barriers in summer to store water. In the Western Ghat region, temporary blockages are created for small streams during October-November months. Stored water is used for agriculture till its availability. During heavy rainfall, excess water from the farm flows out. Farm pond is dug at the lowermost portion of the farm to collect runoff water. This is useful as drinking water for cattle, irrigation water for nursery, and newly planted seedlings. This remains for 3 to 4 months and useful even for life-saving irrigation for crops. Collected water percolates down, recharging groundwater. A few farmers put plastic sheets or cement concrete at the bottom of the pond to retain the storage for a long time. Grow grass or put stones to the water channel leading to the farm pond to minimize soil erosion. Apart from that, dig a catch pit just before the pond. Silt, sand, manure, etc. settle down in this catch pit and clean water enters the farm pond. Clean this catch pit once in a year before the onset of monsoon. This pit minimizes silting of farm pond. Gullies formed on the farm due to surface runoff are plugged with some obstacles. Silt with the runoff water gets collected and fills the gully. This method is good for bigger gullies too. Deep summer plowing is practiced after the harvest of rabi crop. This is useful to kill weeds, pathogens, and pupae of insects, and also to conserve summer rainwater. Deep plowing up to 1 foot is good in deep black soils. This helps for deep-rooted crops like cotton, red gram, etc. to spread their roots to deeper layers. In shallow and sandy soils, plowing up to 4 to 5 inches is enough. Rainwater percolation increases with the depth of plowing. Repeated intercultivation is done between crop rows to pulverize the soil surface. This reduces evaporation by filling surface cracks apart from controlling weeds. Early sowing is advised in dry land. Broadcasting of seeds is not good. The seed may not germinate due to lack of moisture. Sow the seed with seed drills to 1 to 2 inch depth, depending on the size of the seed. Then cover the soil and compact it by running wooden planks. Seed germinates with available soil moisture. Use 25% more seed than the normal seed rate. Remove excess plant population 2 to 3 weeks after germination. Generally, dry land is deficient in nitrogen and phosphorus. Potash will be at medium to high range. Use of fertilizers is very less in dry land farming compared to irrigated crops. Broadcasting of fertilizers will lead to wastage due to less soil moisture content. Put fertilizers in subsoils with the help of fertilizer drill. This helps for better absorption and good crop stand. Foliar spraying of nutrients is also effective. This minimizes the wastage of costly fertilizers. Application of organic manures in dryland farming has many advantages. It improves the percolation of rainwater and water holding capacity of the soil. Soil temperature remains under control. Organic matter improves the soil structure, which helps for better root growth and proliferation. All these contribute to better plant growth and yield. Green manuring and use of biofertilizers is also recommended in dryland farming. Try to include leguminous crops as mixed crop or in the crop rotation cycle, which improves soil fertility. Add all available crop residues back to the soil as organic matter. Now, let us understand the criteria and methodology for crop and variety selection for dryland farming. Choose drought-resistant or at least tolerant crops and varieties. Short and medium duration crops will escape drought at the end of the season. Fast growth in the early stage itself, comfortable yield even in difficult conditions, resistance for pests and diseases, low water requirement, etc. are the preferred characteristics of dryland crops. The roots should penetrate deep and branch at deeper layers of the soil. Sorghum, finger millet, wheat, minor millets like foxtail millet, pearl millet, proso millet, kodo millet, little millet, dicot grams, and oil seeds are the common successful crops in dry lands. Most of the popular high-yielding varieties of hybrids are developed for irrigated farming. Hence, it is better to go for local crops and varieties, or those specially developed for dryland farming. Main motto of dryland cropping plan is to get maximum benefit of available soil and moisture. Crop planning depends on the amount of rainfall and its distribution, type and depth of soil, etc. Monocropping is better in the regions with less than 500 mm rainfall. Groundnut, sorghum, finger millet, minor millets, etc. are preferred here. Multiple and intercropping systems are followed in the region with 600 to 850 mm rainfall. Here, one or the other crop in the combination gives comfortable yield. Few examples of such crop plans are here. Sorghum red gram 6:8:1. Sorghum cowpea 2:1. Cotton black gram 1:2. Groundnut red gram 6:8:1. Groundnut castor 6:8:1. Bengal gram coriander 4:1. Maize cowpea 2:1. Finger millet cowpea red gram 6:1:1. Groundnut red gram 11:1. Sorghum red gram 2:1. Groundnut castor 4:1. Bengal gram castor 3:1. Finger millet red gram 8:1, and so on. Here are a few crop plans considering the depth of soil. In very shallow soils with 2 to 3 inch depth, better to grow fodder grasses. For soils with 6 to 9 inch depth, dolichos, castor, fodder grasses, agroforestry species, horticultural crops, pearl millet, lentil, etc. are recommended. For soils with half to 1.5 feet depth, minor millets, red gram, sunflower, groundnut, castor, etc. are preferred. For soils with 2 to 3 feet depth, green gram or black gram in Kharif season and sorghum or safflower in Rabi season are recommended. In deep soils, one can grow most of the dryland crops. Let us study cropping plans depending on the time of onset of monsoon. If the rain starts in May itself, go for sesamum red gram 10:2 or 3:1. If the monsoon starts in May last week to June first week, put red gram maize 1:1. Red gram short duration cowpea 1:1. Sorghum red gram 2:1. Castor, linseed or finger millet 3:1, etc. If the rain starts by June 2nd week to July months, go for finger millet red gram 8:2. Groundnut red gram 8:2. Groundnut castor 8:1. Finger millet dolichos 8:1 or 10:1, etc. If the rain delays further, put finger millet soya bean 4:1, horse gram linseed 8:2, etc. Shortage of rainfall and drought are very common in dryland regions. Drought may appear in the beginning, at the middle, or at the end of the cropping season. In such situations, farmer has to try to minimize the effect of drought to achieve better yield. Let us understand few such methods now. If the monsoon is delayed, go for transplanting of chili and finger millet instead of direct sowing. Raise staggered nursery for the purpose. If the drought appears in the early stage of crop, take up repeated harrowing between crop rows to close the cracks in the soil surface to minimize evaporation. If the drought is severe, harvest the crop as fodder. If the drought is expected, increase inter-row spacing and put more plants in the row. In case of mid-season drought, go for thinning to reduce plant density. This will bring down the competition for moisture. Otherwise, remove every alternate row. Spraying of water once in a week is useful in crops like groundnut, castor, red gram, etc. Spraying 2% urea once in 7 to 10 days is also effective. If the drought appears in the last stage of crop, provide life-saving irrigation and put mulching between crop rows. In the crops like red gram, cowpea, dolichos, if the drought appears at pod filling stage, the crop may be harvested as green vegetable. If the first crop fails in sorghum and pearl millet, ratoon crop is possible with further rains. If the duration of rainfall is less, harvest the first crop early, that is at physiological maturity, to facilitate next crop. Here are a few more methods to improve crop yield in dryland farming. The first one is to minimize evaporation. Create pulverized soil layer between crop rows by repeated harrowing. Go for mulching if the crop residues, grass or sugarcane trash are available. If possible, mulch with plastic sheet. Of course, it is a bit costlier. White plastic sheet is better in summer. Black plastic is good in the winter, which increases soil temperature. Growing fodder cowpea as mulch crop is practiced in sorghum. Cover crop in rubber plantation is very common. Mulching has many advantages like soil and water conservation, weed and soil temperature controls, etc. Weeds affect the crop yield up to 30 to 75%. Hence, effective and timely weed control is most important. Root grubs and termites are common in dryland farming. Take up control measures for better yield. Around 99% of water absorbed by the plant is spent by transpiration. To bring down this loss and to save the plant from drought, spraying wax and hydrated lime, etc. are also practiced. In crops like cotton and chili, cycocil hormone is sprayed to control vegetative growth. Spraying Planofix in groundnut brings modification in the plant. It gives drought tolerance and more yield. Windbreakers around the garden or farm reduce the wind speed, which brings down transpiration rate. Growing grass or dicot crops like a carpet between rows of trees is also popular. Planting of unpalatable perennial grass is quite useful for soil and water conservation. Synodon grass and dicot plant like Styloxanthus are commonly used for this purpose. Failure of crop or very low yield and income are common in dry lands with agronomic crops. But dryland horticulture and tree-based farming or agroforestry systems can give more stable or sustained income. Let us study dryland horticulture first. The crops and varieties selected for dryland horticulture must have drought tolerance by nature, a deep root system, and spreading of roots in the deeper soil layer is preferred. Hence, the monocot crops like areca nut and coconut with shallow root system are not suitable for dryland horticulture. Plantations with artificial irrigation get destroyed in a single season if the water source fails due to drought. The farmer loses investment and effort put for decades. The popular dryland horticulture crops are pomegranate, lime, sapota, mango, tamarind, cashew, guava, jackfruit, etc. Minor crops like burr, amla, custard apple, jamun, kokum, wood apple, bale, fig, soapnut, drumstick, curry leaf, etc. can also grow comfortably in dry lands. Apart from these medicinal plants, chili, brinjal, cluster bean, tomato, cowpea, etc. are also having drought tolerance. All these crops may give better yield under irrigation, but yield enough at least to match the cost of production in dry land. Pomegranate is basically a dryland crop. It faces a lot of disease problems in humid climate, and the quality of fruit will be poor. Earlier, dryland farmers of Koppal, Bellary, Chitradurga districts of Karnataka were growing just minor millets and horse gram. But now, the pomegranate is popular in the world market. However, assured light irrigation is necessary for high yield and exportable fruits. Mango is also an important dry land fruit crop. It prefers deep soils. We do not find irrigation in old mango plantations even today. Excess moisture during flowering will affect the yield. However, regular irrigation once in 15 days from March after fruit setting will enhance yield and the quality of fruits. Mango is one of the important crops in integrated farming system in dry land. One can grow seasonal crops between plant rows till they develop full canopy. Sapota is another important crop of dryland horticulture. Yield and sweetness of the fruit will be poor with high humidity and soil moisture. Fruit rot disease is common in high rainfall areas. Hence, commercial sapota gardens are seen only in dryland regions. However, regular irrigation once in 15 days will enhance yield and the quality of fruits. Lime and other citrus crops have drought tolerance. They give profitable yield under rain-fed conditions. One more commercial crop for dry land is cashew. This was introduced to India for soil erosion control in the coastal regions. It flowers late and produces poor yield in humid cold regions. Pest and disease problem is also more. It gives commercial yield in dry land and also in hot humid climate of the sea coast. Now, many high-yielding varieties of cashew are available for commercial plantations. Now we find sizable area under cashew across the country. Guava is one more popular crop of dry land, but the commercial plantations provide assured irrigations since they plant air layer plants without taproot system. Jackfruit is an evergreen tree species usually found in high rainfall areas. But this tree with extensive root system comes up well in dry land. It produces better quality sweet fruits in dry climate. Jackfruit is coming to mainstream horticulture in recent years from the list of minor fruits. Tamarind is a popular species of dryland regions since centuries. It will not come up properly in heavy rainfall areas. It was not a cultivated crop till last decade. Collection of fruits was from trees planted along the roads and bunds of the farm. Now we find tamarind plantations here and there. We have many high-yielding selections of tamarind now. A big tamarind tree can earn 5 to 10,000 rupees a year. It needs no irrigation. Pest and disease problem is negligible. Amla has also moved from nature to farmer's field. It is best suited for dryland horticulture. High-yielding varieties are available in amla, which give good yield with least management. The amla fruit is being used for Ayurvedic preparations, pickles, dry amla, morabba, etc. Hence, it brings an attractive income for farmers. Ber is one more fruit common in dryland regions. It is consumed as fresh fruit, and a small portion of the production goes for processing. This is considered as a poor man's apple. However, this tasty and nutritious fruit needs introduction to new markets. Kokum or Garcinia indica is a minor fruit tree found naturally in the Western Ghats. Fresh fruit is used for juice making and dried one for cooking. The butter from the seed is used for medicines and sweets. Kokum plantations are seen in Konkan parts of Maharashtra and Goa. Fig cultivation is getting popularity in dry lands of India in recent years. But still, it needs wide acceptance from farmers as well as from consumers. Few other dryland minor fruit species like jamun, custard apple, wood apple, bale, etc. are found in mixed plantations or on bunds. These special fruits need systematic introduction to the consumer markets. There is no doubt about their success in dryland cultivation. As of now, soap nut comes from wild collection which fetches a good price. It can be a successful crop in dry lands. The tree vegetable drumstick is a commercial crop already. Likewise, the curry leaf also. Most of these plants are seen cultivated in irrigated plantations, but they can produce profitable yield and income under rain-fed conditions as well. One more alternative use of dry land is for agroforestry or monocropping of forest species. Agroforestry means planting forest species on bunds, strips or wasteland patches along with routine crops. Agroforestry has many advantages like firewood, green manure, dry leaves for compost, fodder, food and shelter for birds, nectar for honeybees, etc. Logging mature timber fetches a big amount later. Plant species selected for agroforestry must grow fast, straight, and without much wide canopy. Fodder species must withstand repeated lopping. It should have deep root system so that it will not compete for food and water with the routine crops on the farm. Leguminous species will enrich soil fertility by nitrogen fixation. The plants contributing to biodiversity and species with commercial value are given more priority in agroforestry system. Let us study a few important agroforestry species now. Teak is a popular plant as live fence on the boundaries of farms. Keep on trimming side branches to make it to grow tall and straight. Logging every alternate plant in the row after 6 to 8 years will bring sizable income and allows remaining plants to grow thicker and better. Teak plants do not create problem of shade also. It will produce valuable timber after 25 to 30 years. Subabul is one more important agroforestry species. This is a proteinaceous and palatable fodder also. It grows into a big tree in just 6 to 8 years. The wood is used for pulp and lightweight furniture. Subabul gives highest tonnage of wood and best income in the least time compared to other species. It withstands repeated lopping of branches as fodder or green manure. It multiplies very easily by seeds. Subabul is popular as live fence and windbreaker also. Silver oak is one more important agroforestry species in use. It is found on the boundaries of the farms as well as in coffee plantations for partial shade. Trimming side branches will make it to grow straight for more than 100 feet. Timber from the silver oak fetches a good price due to its pulp quality. There is no much shade problem with this tree. The next popular agroforestry species is casuarina. This is being grown on bunds and also in separate plantations. Casuarina produces straight poles, useful for roof and good timber at maturity. Likewise, We find eucalyptus also on the boundaries of the farms. Fodder trees are one of the major components of agroforestry systems. Gliricidia finds place as live fens or on bunds. The herbage is cut 3 to 4 times a year for green manuring. This is a proteinaceous fodder also, but animals will feed on this only after wilting due to its smell. Susbenia is another palatable and proteinaceous fodder. This grows very fast and withstands repeated lopping. Caliandra is one more soft and nutritious fodder, very much liked by the cattle. Animals eat even small stems along with the leaves, but do not feed Caliandra a lot. It is said that it develops infertility in animals. In sole plantations of agroforestry species, seasonal crops or grass may be grown between plant rows till they develop full canopy. Shade-tolerant species like Guinea grass can grow for a few more years. Sole plantation of forest trees is advised in unfertile fallow land of the farm. Neem is a common species found on most of the farms in dry regions. Of course, we won't find separate neem plantations anywhere. Neem shows stunted growth in high rainfall areas. Leaves, seeds, oil and seed cake of neem are highly useful in organic farming. Mature timber fetches a good price. Likewise, Melia has also secured its place in agroforestry system in recent years. Many farmers planted this species on a large scale. The leaves of Melia is a nutritious fodder also. This plant produces soft timber in 10 to 15 years, which is useful for pulp and lightweight furniture. Acacia auriculariformis is the most popular species in forest plantations in the last few decades. This species from Australia can survive and grow in extreme hot climate with the least soil moisture. It is not browsed by animals and comes for logging in 8 to 10 years. It mostly sells for pulp and firewood. However, the thicker one fetches a good price as timber. Farmers in dryland regions planted this acacia on a large scale in recent years. One more popular species found in agroforestry plantations is eucalyptus. It grows very fast and straight. It is used for pulp and timber purposes. Ratoons grow in clumps after cutting the first plant. There is no scientific proof for the claim that this tree depletes groundwater. Pongamia, a popular tree found in dry lands, is the best suited plant for green manuring. Herbage and seed cakes are widely used in organic farming. Pongamia seed with high oil content is used for biofuel extraction on a large scale. Likewise, Acacia nilotica is also a common multi-purpose tree found in dry lands. Few farmers planted costly timber species, sisu, along with other trees. Growth is very slow, but the timber fetches bumper price at maturity. Sandalwood, the state tree of Karnataka, has also found its place in farms in recent years. It is difficult to protect it from smugglers, but farmers planted sandalwood in large numbers after the government relaxed Forest Act, enabling the farmers owning this tree. The growth of this plant is very slow in dry lands, but it produces best quality heartwood. Now the government is also encouraging the farmers to grow sandalwood. Dear viewers, as discussed earlier, the scope for expanding irrigated area is very limited. Irrigation water, electricity, and fertilizers are the costly inputs now. This has affected the economy of the farmers a lot in irrigated area. At the same time, dry land is available on a large scale for farming activity. No government can give food security if the production of food grain goes down year by year. Increasing the productivity and production in dryland farming is the only and ultimate solution. If we implement the technologies, opportunities and methodologies discussed earlier, dry land can feed the nation and the world. Integrated farming system can bring stability in farm income and can provide livelihood security for farmers. Let us use this opportunity for stable and sustainable farming. We wish you all the success in your effort for dryland farming. Namaskar.